So this has been absolutely insane, right? The last couple days, and it's crazy because Sam Bankman-Fried, who was Washington's favorite crypto billionaire, now, of course, seeing Alameda Research and FTX token collapse here, this is going to have drastic impacts on crypto regulation and where we move from here. Let's dive into it a little bit in this video and break it down. Uh, First off, let me tell you this. This has been a wild ride, and just hang in there, hang tight. I know things have been extremely rocky, and it could get a little crazier here in the short term. Expect a lot of volatility. So, of course, a major setback for the regulatory future. The crypto industry has lost what likely was its biggest and most connected cheerleader in Washington, in FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, who oftentimes charmed the internet with his nascence when it comes to formal business attire during his congressional appearances, has prided himself on being the industry's leading voice on Capitol Hill. But as we all know, distrust in the 30-year-old billionaire or former billionaire has ballooned. And I love this quote from Nick Carter, partner at Castle Island Ventures, during a Twitter Spaces on Tuesday. He says, "You don't go from being worth 32 billion one day to being acquired by your biggest competitor the next without having done something wrong." And it's a fascinating quote, and I think it speaks volumes. Now, if FTX user funds were being used to finance Alameda Research, Bankman-Fried could actually face some extreme legal consequences. In fact, a former hedge fund manager and convicted felon, Martin Shrekley, says there's a good chance SBF does a little time in jail. We'll see, right? He said this on his podcast live stream on Tuesday. Now, regarding the Binance acquisition, which is still pending due with them doing their due diligence, does not apply to Alameda. This does not apply to Alameda at all, nor to FTX's U.S. arm, FTX.US. So without Sam Bankman-Fried, the industry is still well positioned in D.C. This, according to Kristen Smith, executive director of lobbyist firm Blockchain Association. She says there are a lot of us who are going to continue doing the work that we have been doing. The industry is well positioned to continue to have a voice in Washington and to be a productive partner in figuring out the right path forward. The question is, who does that person now become? And will they be behind a centralized exchange? I want to dive into some of the things here toward the end of this article that I think are really fascinating. So there could still be a silver lining. Okay, this coming from Ryan Rasmussen, DeFi research analyst at Bitwise. He says, one exciting development here is the shifting tides on how centralized exchanges and lenders view transparency. And I do think this is something that should and could be implemented here for all centralized exchanges. Binance announced plans to publish proof of reserves. Kraken already does this, putting their cards on the table saying, hey, here are our books. You can see them and they're known before you decide to come in and work with us and invest using our platform. This is fascinating. I think it's a great idea. Now, if FTX had proof of reserves, any fears of insolvency sparked by Binance could have quickly been stomped out. Instead, Binance ate their lunch. Because of all this stuff being hidden behind the scenes, there was manipulation when CZ made it public, whether this was a good move or bad move. He was trying to be transparent, I think, and say, hey, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be liquidating a lot of our FTT tokens because we found some stuff we don't like. So get out now before we dump $500 million worth, right? So whether that was a good move, bad move, if it was calculated, I don't know. It's tough to tell. But if that stuff was just public, if it was out there, if we knew that stuff, we wouldn't need CZ. We wouldn't have somebody like CZ out there manipulating the market, whether it's intentional or not. So I think this is a really good idea moving forward. Here's what we do know about regulation. There is still so much to be learned about how things are going to be regulated. I don't think we're going to find anything or see anything anytime soon, at least this year. Maybe later into 2023, we get some more clarity. But it gives me pause with all centralized exchanges at this point. It just does, especially centralized exchanges that use a token as collateral, right? So that's exactly what FTX has done. Crypto.com, I use it, but it scares me now a little bit. I'm a little bit weary of all of these different companies who have a token and they use it as collateral. Coinbase doesn't do that. So that could be something a little bit different. Binance, yes, they have the BNB token or coin, but they don't do that either. So there are some differences here from exchanges that have their native token or coin that they use as collateral versus exchanges and companies that just don't have one, or that have one but don't use it as collateral. So a lot's going to be changing given this news. I think when it's all said and done, this will be a huge learning moment, a huge step forward in the end for crypto, like Terra Luna was, with algorithmic stable coins, like this will be with, transparency. I think that'll be the big story that comes out of this: transparency of what's on your books, transparency of the reserves behind centralized exchanges. So we shall see what happens next. We're going to keep you front and center here. We always do right here on the channel. So make sure you guys stay locked in, stay subscribed, or subscribe now if you haven't already, and hit that like button. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me know what you think about all of this craziness, and we'll continue to roll along here in this crypto market, and brighter days will be ahead, right? They're somewhere around the corner. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you in the next video.